Et je donne maintenant la parole au représentant du Liban.
Mr. President, allow me at the outset to commend you and the United Nations Secretariat on the impeccable organization of the Oceans Conference and on the richness of expertise and ideas that have been on display in the last 3 days, in the plenary meetings, in partnership dialogues, and the numerous side events. I would also like to take this opportunity to applaud the efforts of the co-facilitators whose tireless commitment and resolve helped us reach a consensus on the call for action. Lebanon considers this conference a milestone in the efforts to mobilize the capacity and will of the international community to address the health and sustainability of our oceans and seas and to fully implement Goal 14 of Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development within its agreed timeframes. Lebanon's deep and intimate relationship with the ocean goes back to times immemorial, when our forefathers from Berytus, Byblos, Sidon, and Tyre roamed the waters of the Mediterranean Sea with their vessels and ships, trading and interacting with other cultures and peoples, and building new cities and ports on its shores and islands, many of which withstood the rest of time until our modern era. The sea has become ingrained in our country's sustainable development, economy, culture, history, and national character. Hence, it is our conviction that through our contribution to the conservation and preservation of our oceans and seas, we are also protecting our past, present, and future. Mr. President, it's no secret that in Lebanon today, we are facing many challenges to our marine and coastal ecosystems due to increased coastal urbanization, land and sea-based sources of pollution, habitat degradation, and increasing demand on marine resources, invasive species, and the global impact of climate change. These challenges were compounded in recent years by the environmental catastrophe caused by Israel's bombing in July 2006 of El Jie power plant, which resulted in an oil slick that covered the entirety of the Lebanese coastline, polluting Lebanon's shore with serious adverse implications on the country's economy, tourism, marine resources, biodiversity, fisheries, and human health, which prompted this General Assembly to overwhelmingly adopt for 11 consecutive years the oil slick on Lebanese shores resolution. We acknowledge that Goal 14 constitutes the adequate guiding framework to address many of these challenges, especially if it was integrated along with its targets into national development plans and strategies. The successful implementation of those targets would help Lebanon reduce marine pollution of all kinds, sustainably manage and protect marine and coastal ecosystems, support its artisanal fishing sector, and encourage the adoption of more sustainable fishing practices. Lebanon already has in place a large set of environmental laws and regulations covering marine and coastal ecosystems, particularly the law for fisheries of 1929, the environmental law of 2002, which embraces the polluter pay principle to help curb pollution, including seawater pollution, and 2 laws on marine protected areas, the MPAs, which established the Palm Islands Nature Reserve in northern Lebanon and the Tyre Coast Nature Reserve in South Lebanon, the Marine Protected Area Strategy, which was developed in 2012 by the Lebanese Ministry of Environment in partnership with International Union for Conservation of Nature, proposes an establishment of 15 additional MPAs, which would include the estuaries of 15 rivers and deep water side. In addition, Lebanon's master plan for water for wastewater treatment and management envisages the construction of multiple wastewater treatment plants along the Lebanese coast in the next few years, which will help reduce pollution levels in the Mediterranean. Finally, Mr. President, Lebanon welcomed the particular focus and attention that the Oceans Conference has granted for our essential common goal to conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas, and marine resources. But we also underline our conviction in the integrated and visible nature of all sustainable development goals and the interlinkages and synergies that exist between them, including those between Goal 14 and Goal 13 on combating climate change. In this regard, the Oceans Conference represents a timely and appropriate platform to reaffirm the importance of the Paris Agreement on climate change as an essential international tool to tackle this global challenge to our planet and our future. I thank you for your attention.
Je remercie le représentant du Liban.